Bonjour, mes amis. Me Mars, that's Koma, that's Qbhall, and welcome to Mori from France.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. Oh,
Uh,
I didn't realize you were calling. You were gonna be calling from France. Okay.
yeah. I'm in an apartment right now in Toulouse, trying to stream. Well, works well. The Wi-Fi is about the same as anywhere else. It's my second week now, or well, the end of the first week. Now the second week is coming along, so. Yeah, it's been a whole trip here. Been buying stuff, buying manga, buying books, buying vinyls, anime vinyls. I mean, they have a huge market on manga, but not much old stuff, or well, old manga, but no old magazines, for instance, anime magazines, manga magazines, etc., old ones. So that's kind of a bummer. Not a lot of cities have it here. I was spoiled with Italy because Italy had so much secondhand stuff, but yeah, that's I guess more ingrained in there than here in France. It's about 20 years now that's really been popular, and beyond that, not that much. So yeah,
So, what have
It,
you got?
what I get, I got Atom. I got a magazine of Atom, a hardcover edition. They did magazines in hardcover. And I had an interview from Kiwasida, Doradoro, and an interview from Eden. From Eden. It's an endless world. That one, and
Oh yeah.
then a bunch of other interviews I want to translate or want to scan in, basically. And then for the rest, bought some manga. Volume 1 of Blame in France, of course, I had to have it. It's me, of course. Then some small volumes of The Girl from the Other Side, just some extra books that came with the original Japanese manga, but they also released them in France, sold separately. So I also got those, and then cards. Anime vinyl of Pet Labor 2 anime vinyl. It's pretty damn nice. Vinyl of the House of Madness. No. What's it called again? Let me look. The Summit of the Gods. Shintaro Kago art book. Oh yeah, an illustration book of Berserk. And like the same in Japanese, but then completely in France. And yeah, that in short. I also
Oh yeah.
tried to get a magazine from Stomanie that had an interview from him from 2001 when he was in Angoulême for the big festival. But I have not found it yet, or probably will never find because I've not found any old magazines that go back to that time. So yeah, I guess it's maybe it doesn't exist, or maybe it never existed. Who knows? But oh well, I found some good shit anyway. It's not as much as Italy, that's for sure. But hey, I'm still enjoying myself. Going to castles, going to other cities. Some are better than others. Some are less touristy than others. But hey,
Well, I bet there's so much to see there in France.
yeah. If you look enough up and explore enough, then you find a lot. You go enough through stuff.
so is
So,
there
hmm?
would would you say there's like more of a culture of like used books in Italy?
For anime and manga, yeah, I would say so. For like for Bologna, that's like in the north of Italy, there was a lot of stores for secondhand manga, secondhand magazines, and whatnot. Basically, just a lot more CDs. They also had a lot of CDs too and other stuff, but not much. I guess it's just more ingrained because from the 80s and 90s, it's already been popular there. So, there's a lot more going on. And maybe because it's like Toulouse is like the fourth biggest city of France. So that's probably why there's more in Toulouse itself because there's a lot of manga stores here in Toulouse, where the other cities have almost nothing. Even secondhand is just Belgium, Franco. That's like the main thing here, and manga and anime is like a side product. It's just an afterthought, basically, not the biggest thing they're gonna sell, obviously, because that's not how it became big in here. So yeah, I guess it's less ingrained. Because I also read from 2001 in Angoulême when Nia was there that they said that back then mangaka were not that common to come on these big festivals or manga being sold or anything like that. So back in the day, it's like 2001, 2000, 99 or something. Nobody was really buying or selling stuff. So yeah, just less ingrained, I guess.
Okay,
But
that's
I was hmm? But I was on your side.
let me see what have I been reading? Let me see. I've been trying this uh Alan Moore Miracle Man book. I don't know if you ever get into much Western comics, but I've been looking at and seeing at what
Mm,
um
what's it about?
um is it like how Watchmen was like kind of the deconstruction of superheroes,
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think this was probably something like a earlier something like that. So
Mm,
he's bringing back a classic character and making it much darker. So like it was like a ancient, a old golden age uh character that he brings
mm.
back in a different way and gives him I guess, but I haven't reached too far yet. But I think he gives him kind of a messed up backstory and everything.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay, okay.
So I don't know. I, I I I haven't really looked into it, but I think maybe this was something like a proto Watchman. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody that knows is probably angry at me for calling it like that. But maybe it was one of the earliest of his works that was trying to like a meta comic then.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
Um,
basically made before the main series.
but it's not. I don't think it's connected though. But I'm not even sure if I have the timelines right. I haven't checked to see if Watchmen was before. I'm pretty sure Watchmen was after.
Mm, 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 mm,
Um,
mm, mm.
but I don't know if you follow any. Have you ever checked any
Western
Alan
comic?
Moore or well Alan Moore? Well, yeah, Western comics in general.
I mean, yeah, I've bought some back in the Netherlands, like in Dutch sometimes, but that's kind of pointless because they never, bring out new parts because or volumes because nobody really reads in Dutch. And then here in France, I tried to look for one comic, Chrome, which I showed last time. And was pretty
Right.
interesting, but nobody had it for some reason. It's not really that, it's not popular or anything, and it's not expensive at all. And I can just easily find it online and just buy it there. But I want to buy it to find it in France, but nowhere. So yeah.
So, but do people even know about it?
Not a lot of people, I guess. It's just two parts from the early 2000s, like from 2005 and 2000. No, 2002, 2005 was really a thing. Maybe I can find it.
But it is a French comic.
I mean, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, originally.
Okay. No, I just thought it was interesting that it is French, and nobody in France has heard of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not the most popular thing ever. It's just two parts, and that's it. I guess that it is finished, but there's not much been going on since then, basically. Here's some of the art of it, basically. And I was looking for this one, Volume 2, but nobody had it. It's only like you've only one and two in French, and then Dutch, just only one in Dutch and nothing else. That's just kind of the problem. If they were both in Dutch, I could easily just. I mean, I have a guy that wants to translate stuff, and or scan it in, so I can get his help and get this thing online. But well, maybe I get the second one. There may be somebody else that can do French and get the thing online someday. But for now, I just have one volume that I can translate. But yeah, I'm not that good in English, so
It's interesting that it. Well, yeah, I just find it unusual. They haven't even heard of it. Not even, have it in stock, but just they haven't even heard of it.
No, it's been out of stock for years. Like it was from 2005 and been out of stock. So the people in
Okay.
secondhand shops have heard about it, but don't have it for some reason in this city. In other cities, just don't have a lot of secondhand shops. It's just Toulouse that has the most of it, and then a few others. But then they are on vacation because summer vacation is over, so they go on vacation, but it's not set online. So when I arrive, they're on vacation, and I can buy shit. So yeah, except here in Toulouse, and I can buy a lot of other shit, but you know, kind of a problem.
And
That
I
was
mean, even if you add many options as far as uh, g- having access to second-hand shops in France, doesn't mean that you will find it, because if it's rare, as you say, from 2005, I mean, it's one of those things that it's better to get online if they are available,
Yeah, I already saw it
even if you are
online,
going
but
to pay, even if you have to pay more, because I mean, it's from another country and it's rare as fuck. So I mean, if you
yes.
really want,
Uh,
well, it's not particularly rare because it's not really expensive. I guess it's you know just kind of unknown and just two parts, so nobody really has it, or just never been enough sold of it to really get it going. I mean, here you get for 8, 9, $10 or something, or 25 or something, so it's not really that expensive in general. But who knows?
yes. I find it. I also find it unusual that even though this, we kind of in an age where people could publish stuff themselves, that he hasn't republished it.
No,
I,
no, I guess they don't have the rights anymore and no interest for
ah,
it. Or somebody died or something, who knows, and just and doesn't get republished for some reason.
okay. So
uh
it's never even been scanned online.
no, it hasn't been scandalized. It's just these free pages you get with these sites, for instance, like you see here, for instance. Only these things are being online. I mean, I've like I've had manga before that were never be put online. There's a lot of goddamn manga that is never put online ever, and they're just stuck in physical form, and nobody bothers to do it because nobody knows about it, or hasn't been in a lot of countries, so not really that many options to, or not many interest to get online somewhere, because not a lot of people have it anyway, because it's just two parts. If it was a whole series, then yeah, bigger chance that you have it online, or that somebody tries it to be online. The more well known it is, the better the chance you have to have it online.
So how was it? you know how it was received? Like was it
Yeah.
received well?
No clue really, because I just bought it secondhand. Thought the art was good. Want to read more of it and tried to find it and put it online. Basically, that was more my whole idea. And then when I looked up for prices, it was not that expensive and not that thing. So I guess it was not that. Uh, you know, use a bit of guesswork with people things. We didn't learn much of the end, etc., etc. Well, I don't want to spoil myself now. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was received well, and then the second one was not received that well, and that's why it's just not that popular at all. But I don't know. It's just one random volume I found. Think it's really interesting and want it online. It's just with the random things I find. It's not lost media, but it's just stuff that nobody puts online, basically. Same with BBB or other stuff. Recently, just a day ago or something, BBB was put online on Kitsu, while I added to their library. And I probably will also do it on Mall, but Kitsu is a bit easier to put stuff online because they put a lot more other stuff online than just manga or what Mall considers to be manga or anime. So it's just a bit difficult to get anything online there. So Kitsu is a bit easier on that. Now, this obviously is just a comic. There's nothing to do with Japan. So yeah. And I don't know if it's inspired by Blame because a lot of stuff kind of looks like mech structure from what I've seen from Volume 1, but who knows?
Yeah, it might be. I don't know. Have you ever reached out to the artist directly, or have you?
No, 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 no. No, no, I don't know if they are on social media anyway, or can even understand me in English or French. So maybe I can try that, but who knows?
That'll be interesting. Have you ever reached out to people in general?
No, no, none of them. Yeah, obviously not, because that's impossible to find, because he's so high up this, and he can only do Japanese. So how would you try to contact him? Well, I tried to contact him once, I guess, but obviously he didn't respond. Any other ones for what Koma has translated? Also not, because he's completely unknown. Nobody knows what happened to him or what happened to other works, or is he even alive? There's no info on him at all, so you have no clue.
It's
Who
probably
who
that he just quit doing manga
Yeah,
altogether.
probably.
who was that guy?
I don't remember the name anymore.
What's the name again?
Uh,
From Kappa Magazine. What's the fucking guy's name again? What's the comic again? Ugh. I bought it myself, and I don't even kind of remember what
I
the fuck.
translated it and I don't remember again.
Wait, let me look up real quick.
So
Uh, Kappa.
But it was a artist. It was somebody you guys mentioned
That's a
before, correct?
manga. That's a Japanese manga. He published in the afternoon magazine. Uh,
And he just disappeared. Is what you say.
basically, yeah. Let me find it. Kappa magazine. Why do I not remember the fuck? So it's so much to scan the bullshit in, but Oh, I don't even remember him. Uh, Lord of
Well, what have you been checking out, Koma?
Koji Mikomo was the name. From
Mochikomo. Yeah, 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 yeah. He did. What did he do?
When on When, Where
When
on
and
When,
where? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
From the Beyond.
From the Beyond. Yeah, that's the ones. That's the ones. Miyoko. Yeah, when and where from the Beyond. Yeah, 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 that's the ones.
From
You
Yeah,
can check out the site of the group who did the
uh,
translation.
yeah. It's on Manga Dex.
from the beyond.
Yeah, from the Beyond. That's in any case on Manga Dex.
Okay, this is and right. This is a guy I mentioned before.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We talked about it a few times on air.
Okay, that is so like he came and he made like a
He made two
interesting work.
one shots in the 90s in like 95 and 1997, and then just disappeared. I guess just tried a bunch more to sending to Afternoon Magazine, but they denied it for an award, for instance, and then he just quit. And we have no clue what happened to him. Fuck, or
I
maybe he
mean,
changed his name. Who knows? What he did after that?
I find funny that if you go and Google From the Beyond, you will find two entire sites where the one shot is present, apart
Yeah,
from
yeah, 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 yeah. It's
3anti.net. My God.
So I wonder, was that because that was the only place that they were able to post it without it being flagged, or
well, when I first scanned it in, I put it on eHentai because eHentai has also a lot of horror books than just, well, hentai. So I put it first up on there and also on archive.org, although when we're missed 2 pages for some damn reason. And then later on, and then at the same time, another group also bought the magazines, were also in Italy at around the same time as I was, bought them also, scanned them in 4K. Koma came in, translated them, and that's why they're on Manga Dex. And for one of them, I'm being credited because they didn't
that is,
really want to believe that I did anything. But I was more on the info on what happened to the guy and who was the guy, etc., etc., etc. There's also a tweet out by Manga Mort that talked about that, for instance. Can also look that up real quick.
uh,
Stop sharing.
I wonder if he ever went into if he changed his name and started doing something else, at least his pen name.
That also is possible.
That's possible. Yeah, that he could have been done something else or maybe started doing light novels or something. Who
But
knows? From some other magazine.
in case he changed his name, in case he changed his name, we would have been able to find another artist who has a similar
Art style.
style.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But
We
yeah,
haven't never heard of someone who is like him because
yeah, yeah. But, or maybe he quit entirely. Maybe he died. Who knows?
let's
Maybe
hope
he's
he is
somebody's
still
sex
alive.
slave. Who the fuck knows what happened to him?
I mean, yeah, we know basically nothing about him. I mean, I'm sure maybe something is available in Japanese, some informations, but we never went and checked from anything.
Nope.
We should maybe try to find more info. Someone
Yeah, well,
On Twitter has replied, and thanks to him, we are
yeah,
in.
yeah, from Morgu, yeah. Yeah, I tried to ask him. And then somebody came up with an archive of, what was it again? On an archive of Kappa magazine where the story of the two stories were on, and some pages and some photos of the afternoon magazine where it also was published in. But that's about it. How far we came, and what his real name was in Japanese, and Japanese characters, and that's about it. What we got really.
There's-
And
I don't know. It's kind of sad that sometimes, and I'm sure it happened. Even for online friends with you guys in the past, sometimes they just disappear and they never hear from them again. And it's the same for imagine it's the same for like artists and stuff. And like I mean, we never really had a connection with them, so we'll never know.
nope. Yep.
But what have you been reading these days, Koma, or watching?
Was finishing a translation for a manga that we are translating for quite some time, but because I was busy and not in the mood, I have delayed the release, but we are close to finish. It's called Kajimonogatari. I think I have already mentioned it in maybe some older episode. I don't know, but it's from this artist known Susumu Iga. He basically devoted his whole career as a mangaka in covering what happened during World War II in his island, Okinawa, during the occupation and everything. Basically, all the stories within the book are based on real life stories, and all the shit that is bound to happen during war, and especially during those times. It's not an easy read, maybe, but it's very interesting. In English, it was published maybe quite recently, another book called Okinawa, basically, and it's more or less the same stuff, but more stories about Okinawa during that time period. So if you want, you can check it out. Digitally is already available. I don't know if you can easily get hold on the printed version, but it came out recently for Fantagraphics.
Oh, okay, so this is the same book, right? Susumu Okinawa.
Okay, no, it's not the same book. It's another book, another volume we did. Basically, it also covers what happened during the war, but it's not the same one that we are translating, of course, because if we were translating something that was licensed in English, that wouldn't be a point in doing, because
Okay. Now, I was wondering if you were translating it into some other language that.
in Italian, the one that we are going to translate to release, it's available. It has been available for many years, but it's rare and difficult to find even in Italian.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it's a good. Continue.
No, I just saying, like that seems to be the case for like a lot of media, and sometimes it's very loved media, but it's not loved by like a huge amount of people. So the companies, they look at the numbers and they say it's not worth it to do this, And I mean, being a fan of Panzer Dragoon, you're probably aware of this, It's like how many people really, know about this.
For different reasons, maybe because Panzer Dragoon was a video game for video game system console that unfortunately came out at the end of the lifespan of the Sega Saturn, and because of that, it didn't get as much coverage as it should have, and also because Sega itself didn't advertised the game as much as they needed to, and also it was printed in America and Europe with very low print run, hence why nowadays it's a very rare game to get, maybe the rarest one for the system. But for a manga, there are other reasons, but I get your point. basically because of one reason or another, it doesn't get as much coverage as it would need, maybe.
All right. I forgot. Now they could do it digitally, so maybe it will. Well, it should reduce the barrier of profitability versus the effort that it'll take, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for books, it's fairly easy to do it. Fortunately, not as easy for a video game like Panzer Dragoon.
Yeah, I mean, even now, I think a modern console could easily emulate that. So it's just a matter of Sega kind of just sitting on it and many IPs. But from what I understand, most of the guys who made this stuff, have kind of moved on or left the industry or doing something else. So, what I see is that the people that reviving Sega series are not really affiliated with Sega directly. They just kind of get the rights from them and get permission to make it. Like the Panzer Dragoon 1 remake was like that, right?
I think so, but at the same time, I think the person who was behind the original games was also behind the remake. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Not Futatsugi.
Yeah, I think. I don't remember the name, but I saw an interview.
I mean, another game of him was released digitally on Xbox. I remember.
Right, that was Phantom Dust.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seemed to have like a career making games that are very loved by a small amount of people. But maybe not the most successful. I'm not sure, but I wonder if he. I'll be interested to see that interview or that where he said that he was involved somehow in the remake.
Yeah, Futatsugi is involved in the remake, so no wonder that he was able to do it in a way or another.
Yeah. But oh well. Anyway, here's a tweet of Kappa Magazine that he anybody asked for, or that he asked for, and is then a page on the Japanese from the afternoon magazine. So maybe that has a bit more info, but I doubt it. That's the only place we can really look for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, but maybe while looking on the internet with the name, we may find something more about him. I don't know. I haven't done it.
No, nobody has done a really deep dive or something. Some people said they wanted to do a deep dive, but they had no time. So this is how far we came last year. Basically, somebody just found archive link of Kappa Magazine and talking about this, and that's about it. What we came up with. And somebody for September. Oh, where is this? No. Yeah, continue. I'll look.
Yeah. No, I was just saying. We finally got a trailer for that new Miyazaki show.
Oh, the new movie.
Yeah. It was well, I guess only somebody like him could think about doing a release like that, where there was no trailer in Japan, and only now that is finally getting licensed in the West that well, I think it was inevitable that G Kids would have gotten it in the West because I think they deal with most of the others so far, but yeah, they finally released a trailer online, because before that, I don't think there was even an image except for the poster watercolor, but I mean, I think, like I say, only he could only Miyazaki could think about doing a release like that, I suppose.
I mean,
You know.
yeah, and he also said like, oh, no, and he already was thinking I had already had plans for a next movie. He wanted to stop after this movie, but no, I want to go back and I want to do another movie. But like, I also saw a tweet of the same Twitter Manga Morch that also said about like 86 he said he would stop, then 89, 2001, 2004, etc, 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 just coming back forth, and like each probably gonna die at the desk somewhere just planning a
Well,
new movie or something like that. He's never gonna stop.
I
He's
mean,
just gonna die till he's done, really.
I,
Literally.
I suppose that is probably for the best. Uh, I mean, would he be able to rest any other way? Would he be able
Yeah.
to I mean, some people just can't stop. Uh, I don't
I
think
mean, yeah.
he wouldn't be able to retire otherwise. And how many times has he retired? He been saying that since like Princess Mononoke or something like that.
Yeah,
Like
for a long time.
it's like 20 something years ago. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. But I mean, you have to be a little bit obsessed to be making animation anyway. You know,
Yeah. You
so
gotta be a real master to, never wanted to stop. The same with like other artists or manga or for comics or whatnot.
yeah. So I think well, now that he's saying, uh, he's not going to retire. Now I wonder, you know, it's like, will it be the opposite? Oh, now that he finally accepted, will it be a problem now? Will he see that? Oh yeah, this is getting too, I'm getting too old for this shit, kind of a thing. Oh,
Yeah.
I was I recently read, before I forget, what was it, the Sandland manga, which was a short read. That was a Toriyama manga, and I got to know about it because there's a CG series coming out adapting it.
Hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
Which
Um,
is
Sandland.
Sandland?
Yeah,
No,
Sandland
no.
from yeah, that is a Toriyama manga. I don't think a lot of people know about it because, I mean, obviously um the Dragon Ball, totally eclipses it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what was it by? There was another manga. Well, I was trying to find. Well, I was also trying to find some other horror comics because I might have read everything that Ito has.
Mm-hmm.
So there's, and I mean, I don't think there's a medium that easy to make horror in. If that makes sense.
Mm.
I think it mightn't be that easy. I don't know what you think. Have you ever read any other horror
Horror manga that were not
or,
really
or,
adaptable?
or
Oh
horror comics?
yeah, a few obviously. I mean, Ito tries it multiple times, but all the animes or like the short anime forms just fail. For live actions too, that fails. Maybe Urumaki will finally put that to sleep and finally work for some time. Another horror manga, yeah, obviously they're not really adaptable at all. Yeah, I've read a bunch. They're just not adaptable at all because the way those jump scares from manga pages work better in manga than it would be in anime, etc., etc., etc. Or it's just too experimental and etc., etc.
Yeah, there might need to be in this particular case, it might be good if they were not as faithful. by trying to make use of the other medium. I don't know if that's possible. Try
Right,
to do
but
things
they
that,
can take their own spin on it. Yeah,
yeah.
they can be done. Sure, why not? Some others have done that too, if they really do it.
And I was watching this old anime, San no Desert Punk. I saw it
Ah,
was,
there's a punk. Yeah, I've heard of that. I know that one.
yeah, so it was I don't know if you noticed this, like a lot of anime seem to be uploaded to YouTube these days. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 I know. I know. I know. Oh, yeah. Lots of it, but also lots of it are just age restricted, unfortunately. So it's just kind of difficult to stream that or to well, not really to watch it for myself, but you know, and in good, in dub or in sub, but and
well,
Funny or Sandland, yeah. Now I see it, yeah, now I recognize it. But yeah, 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 there's Punk. I also have that on my want to watch list. I still haven't watched that in a while. I watched what was the last thing I watched? Lily Cat. Yeah, I watched Lily Cat last night. That was pretty good. That's like a bit of the thing from 18 from the thing from Carpet and Alien and a bit of a mix of that and just a bunch of people going cryostasis for 20 years, wake up, something has entered the fence, came into the water, is people making sick, then they die, and some creature is just taking over the bodies and just morphing into other things. And it's just, it's anime from the 80s and the 90s. It goes wild, obviously. It's from 1987, so it was pretty good. It just had some fun stuff in that, if you like that kind of stuff. It's an OVA
uh,
from like 1 hour and 7 minutes or something like that.
yeah, I think that was the age where they were making like a lot of expensive OVA,
They
right?
still have the budget to do that.
Yeah. I think is that might be that may be an age where we won't necessarily see again. Is there? I guess is the OVA market kind of replaced now by
For 12 episode series, yeah, basically it's movies and 12 episode series. There really aren't any OVAs. They're just directly to DVD or video. No, that's not really a thing anymore.
or maybe by streaming. They're doing like bizarre things.
Yeah, yeah, direct to streaming. Yeah, I guess some people have done that for some reason. They made some shorts, but not, or it's just some movies that go directly to that. But there's more majority just movies and not really OVAs or anything like that.
Well, I think yeah, like I always say that streaming services might be where you see some of the more experimental things because they're just they're kind of just desperate for content, so they might be willing to try things that other people won't. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. I mean, if you really wanted to have horror, body horror, or whatnot, in really the 90s and 80s are the best times to go watch that. Nowadays, there's still some stuff that does that, but not a lot anymore. Unfortunately, not a lot anymore.
what was the show you mentioned?
There's just not a lot of anime anymore that just goes with body horror or any other stuff, or just reboots. Like
Yeah, but
what was it
uh,
again?
uh,
From '80s. Maximum, yeah. Maximum was also from the '80s, and they made it in 2014 for an anniversary again, and then it got really popular.
Maximum, you said?
Yeah, Maximum. What was the full name again? Why am I forgetting everything?
Oh, Parasite.
Yeah, Parasite
Okay.
Maximum, Bingo, that one. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Parasite.
That is also another one I need to check out.
That was pretty good, but
I think body horror is I think I mentioned this before. it's not an easy thing to sell. It's like
No, it's for a certain audience, a certain, some people really like it. I mean, and there's also even smaller genres. You have like melting genre, like really small genre from the 90s and 80s that just movies that just people melt into other kinds of blobs and whatnot, and just the whole duration of the movie it's just that people melting, and that's about it. Or like the cyberpunk era from like that's with Iron Man and Electric Dragon, 80,000 volts, Death Powder, etc., etc., etc. And Six for Pinocchio. That's like they're more like gore fests that just puke all over over the place, blood, whatnot, experimental stuff, all the crazy shit basically that Japan ever puts out.
Melton is another specific subgenre of like body horror manga or body horror
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Yeah, they are. I still have nightmares about the fly. I don't know if you ever seen that.
Ah, The Fly, yeah. That was from the 50s and the 80s. They made a remake from in the 80s, and it was way more popular than the 50s one. I know.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
But
You
hey,
know,
that's
like,
where you come for. Obviously, you just don't go for the bees and the flowers or anything like that. Just or like Genocyber, also really fucked up anime. Just constantly body horror and has no logic to it whatsoever. It kind of started out with a plot and then just spiraled out into madness basically. So that kind of stuff, or like a Wicked City or Wicked City Shinjuku, for instance, also like that kind of body horror stuff, but also really nice art though.
yeah, Genocide, I think is another one that I never saw at the time, but I know it had some nightmare fuel
Neither
stuff.
that.
Like I saw it
Mm.
when I was looking up to see what body horror anime there was, like or horror and stuff, like after reading Blam basically,
Mm.
looking and seeing what else was there in that vein, I came across that, oh
Yeah. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's like it's just an era of anime and manga that's just not. It's not a thing anymore. Basically, I mean, you still have some body horror, still some horror stuff, but it's just majority. It's just like you know they redid it or like they try to sell it again. Like When They Cry, they remade it, for instance. And then a few others like that, but I'm not really interested anymore. It's the same stuff as like Elfen Lied. Back in the day, you thought like, oh wow, this is so great, and then 10, 20 years later, you think, it didn't age at all. It didn't age well at all. It's just like it's like the CGI from 2001 that doesn't age at all. Too. It's the same with Appleseed from like 2001 or something. It's also completely CGI, but doesn't age at all. It was good for the time, but now it's just like it's nothing anymore.
Yeah, about also the content itself, the sci-fi horror genre is sort of disappeared from modern anime or manga.
Mm-hmm.
oh I almost forgot about Attack on Titan. That might be one of the few popular ones that
Oh yeah.
how
Yeah,
could I forget? How,
but to me, it doesn't have the same vibes as
No, no,
something
oh
from the
no,
80s
no.
yeah,
like this.
I think that maybe he tried to sneak it in, edgewise. He's like, I want to draw some gross stuff, but you know, I can't quite make it the. I mean, like it is the center of the show, and yet it's not because usually the characters don't turn into it, but where the was it that guy's mother was turned into one? That was pretty messed up though. That was a little body horror there because that was actually somebody that you know we didn't care about, but somebody did, right?
Yeah.
And it was messed up to see them like that. Like that is. Oh, what am I saying? Um, what is this show? Made in Abyss. Like that is the whole show.
Ah, yeah, that's
You
much
know.
more part. Yeah, that's
You know what? That one.
it's with
That
little
one is.
kids on being fucked
Yeah.
up.
That one is horrific enough to replace all the other stuff you mentioned. That is single-handedly holding up the body horror uh anime genre. What do you think? You know.
Yeah.
That is.
Basically, it's just
Yeah,
like
because
fucked up stuff with just little kids and a world like Blame. It just you have no clue what's in it, and you just want to explore more and want to see more. That's what makes it more interesting than other shows. And with Attack on Titan, yeah, I mean it's been so long with the damn plot. Like I'm kind of done with it now. I just want the end. I've said it in other episodes, but yeah, I'm just kind of done with this stuff. Just want the end.
well, you think he have an
With
ending?
Made in the Abyss, yeah, I want to see more.
Well, you think he has an ending?
But Attack on Titan?
If you think Made in Abyss, if you think the guy has an ending
Made
already
in the
planned.
Abyss. Well, yeah, the manga. No, what was it? Manga light novel have not made an end yet, so no, it's not ended yet. So who knows? Hopefully, it gets an ending, or else it just keeps hanging. You have no clue, what's gonna be at the end of the thing. I mean, last thing I've seen was like season 2, and I know that was just like, going even deeper beyond, like now on the point of they can't go back up anymore no matter what they do. Was before that already impossible, but now it's completely impossible to go back up. There was like this village that was just people turned into other creatures and just trying to survive. You have to see it to understand it, but it's just like it's pretty fucked up how that was created, basically.
Yeah, like and one thing I find a lot of times people aren't horrified into these strange things they're turning into. That is almost frightening itself. Like the
Mm.
beings that I mean, I'm sure they've had a long time to accept this, but even so, you know,
Yeah. I mean, they just literally had their own society and their own systems, but still they're at their own. They lost their humanity, but still wanted to go on. And yeah, the rest is kind of spoilers, so which is just to watch it yourself. It's pretty messed up, obviously.
yeah. I mean, again, that is another thing that you should watch when you don't watch it when you're already kind of depressed. You watch. Be at
No,
a
it's not
hundred, yeah.
something you want to see when you're
What
depressed. No,
start watching it at
no,
100, because you're gonna be zero by
no.
the time you're done.
It's pretty fucked up, especially with kids. It's just constantly fucked up. There's almost no adults in there at all. So yeah, no, not something you want to watch.
Yeah, I think the guy wakes up and he thinks, what is the worst thing I could do to these
To these
people today?
children. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
let me look at the news. You already have the best ideas in 5 minutes or something.
yeah.
That's not needed.
You've seen Old Boy, right?
Oh boy, not a
The
movie, but
Korean.
I mean it.
Okay, I haven't seen the Korean movie.
No, not instant. No, just bits basically, but still have to go really watch it basically. But I
Okay,
know the premise.
have you seen it, Koma?
No, I know it's based on a manga though. It's
Right.
in
Yeah. Well. Okay. Well, the I wouldn't talk about the twist, but that twist is totally unique to the movie, and I'm not even sure I understand the twist in the manga, because like the guy took the basic premise, but it was different in the manga from versus the like the I don't know, maybe the movie needed to make it a little more compact, but I think he did a well, I don't want to say he did a better job. I think it was better, but the movie, yeah, but that guy, the guy who came up with who wrote the movie and who directed the movie, Chan-wook Park, I think it is. He comes up with some good tortures for people. So I think he and I think he in an interview he actually said, yeah, so like I like to think about the worst torture that somebody could have, and only then could I go to sleep, easily. So like, I
Hmm.
think he and the Abyss guy might be kindred spirits in a way. You
Yeah,
know.
I remember like this scene that he's just trying to survive in a hallway and just tries to whack people with a hammer and just goes spamming and just goes along with a hallway. You can see that he just gets tired and more tired. But if you look at the other movies, it's just the hero never gets tired and just you know wax people on without getting feeling anything. So yeah, I mean that's an idea I got from another video. I guess I still have to see it and it's totally, and then I have a better idea what to say myself than just having other people say shit about it. I know it got an American it got an American release or something like an American version, but it was really pretty bad received. Obviously, it didn't
Yeah.
work at all.
Is well, it's something. Is really something. That is, and I think even that remake is old. I think it's like 10 years old.
Yeah, it's not that old. It's from no, well, it's from 2003, so it's from like I don't know,
No, even the remake is old. The remake
it's
is
from
like 10 years old by
yeah,
now.
20 years old now. Yeah,
Yeah. Um. And yeah, the original is still you know, still holds up. Still
obviously, it's one of the few live actions that actually works. The majority doesn't work at all.
well, I wouldn't even say it's an adaptation. Like I would.
It's
It's
just
just
his own version. He took the original material and just made something else of it, basically.
yeah, because the well, when you see it, we will talk more about it. Um, we'll be able to have spoilers for a 20-year-old movie. Um, we should yeah. When you guys watch it, I think it'll be something to talk about. Because you
Mm,
can't say too much. You can only see it once. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it's one of
that was
those movies.
yeah. Well, I mean, you can watch it over and kind of look for the stuff that's happening and hinting towards it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
wanna.
If you know the ending, then you know the beginning. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah. I've been. Oh, I supposed to. I'm not sure the old boy manga, but it reminded me of what was it? For some reason, it reminded me of 20th Century Boys, which are almost at the end of. Which I
Mm.
don't know if have you heard of that one?
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, I know it's the same one from Monster.
Right.
I know
But
already the spoiler of that, but you know,
yeah, I never, there were some things I never quite understood about Monster. Like I wasn't,
like
and
what?
and and even 20th Century Boys. I probably need to. I only watched it though, and that was like a long time ago. But
Mm.
I
What
wasn't
did
quite.
you?
I try to remember. Was there a definite reason why that guy was evil, and why
Oh,
he
Yon. Why Yon was evil? You mean?
in Monster? Yeah. Well, I know he was
Mm. In
anyway.
Monster, basically, I mean, he was just basically brainwashed, basically by the institute he was in. He was literally a monster with no name. He just had he just had nobody and wanted to commit a perfect suicide, basically, just by not existing at all, being in a village that has nobody around, and just killing each other and just nobody that knows him and nobody that is alive to know him. So he's just completely inept. And then later on, he got shot, and then he thought back off. He didn't want to murder anymore, and then he found his purpose or something like that. It's also been a while for me that I've seen it. It was pretty good. I got somebody else to watch it, but he thought that was a bit too simple. But he's also new to anime, so
Too simple, you say. Well, I remember. Well, one of the things I had liked about it was there were whole asides about the side characters. Like there's the cop. There's a whole thing about him a whole expansion about his backstory and why he is like that. And there was,
Lungan. Yeah. I know,
yeah,
I know.
and there was a short guy. He had a whole backstory too. There was a huge amount of. But I mean, that was like an epic world spanning. And I think this is why this is why the medium of animation is good for a lot of things. Like that would cost like $100 million to make into a live action, because every episode we're in like a different country.
Yeah. And it's one of the few that Japanese manga actually depict a country, accurately than just saying from, oh, this is America, and you just see New York, a few buildings, and that's it, or a beach or something. But it's just beyond that, it's just all talking Japanese, all everything just being Japanese, but just changed up, and nothing is really what it is. Not the actual country that they're in. And in Monster, it's actually the country that they're in. Just actually Germany, actually, etc., etc.
Yeah, and it was weird. Like before that, and even still, I don't like a lot of grounded media, because it's almost like I want something to be as fantastic as possible, because it's escapism. I want something totally different.
Yeah, I get it. If it's a bit too real, then what's the point?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I mean, with stuff with monster, I can still invoke something else, and then it's still a manga and still a story. It's still a mystery. It's still something you want to know what happens to the characters and how everything pans out. So you still have that kind of escapism. It's still well crafted that you're in the story and not just in the real world. It's set in the real world, but still its own thing. I mean, if you do it right, then you have your own thing going on, basically. But some works take it a bit too seriously and just a bit of slice of life, and if not much going on, it's just a bit too realistic, and you know, it's not too interesting.
Yeah, that is
But
why I think I
you
like.
need to have a.
Uh, oh, go ahead.
Hmm?
Oh no, well, I was just saying, I had kind of gotten into slice of life with some sort of fantastic twist. Like yeah, like YKK, and Girls Are Store, like, and Mushishi. You know,
Yeah.
well, it's probably not right to call Mushishi slice of life, but
Yeah.
you kind of get what I'm saying. It kind of has
Yeah, I
It's
get it. It
kind
has
of
the
is a
aesthetic of
slice of
that.
life.
It's the aesthetic of a lot and slice of life, but it's still in medieval or like no, not medieval, like 18th, 19th century Japan, basically, and then with all these creatures
but
that just roaming
you,
around.
you know what? I did read that the guy wanted to make it ambiguous when
Mm.
it took place, because the guy, the main character wears kind of modern clothes, right? More or
Yeah,
less.
19th century clothes, basically.
And then he's dealing with people from, like you say, medieval friggin' Japan kind of thing. So when is it? Yeah, just yeah. I thought that was interesting too, because even in the anime, I was wondering. I thought that was weird. I was wondering, is he going to rural places where people just dress like this still? Just
Japan was for a long time just separated from the rest of the world, so they stayed in their own tradition for a very long time. You also see it in Samurai Champloo, like in the 19th century. Had all, and you see also all kinds of stuff
oh yeah. Well,
that was from the 19th century, or like Blade of the Immortal, also 19th century, also saw a lot of stuff from the 19th century,
oh,
etc.,
yeah,
etc.
I was supposed to. You both of you guys read Blade of the Immortal, right?
Yeah, like volume one, or like the omnibus of it, so like two, three volumes, and the anime, 2019 anime. Watch that.
I, I've been reading the translation, but I feel from what I understand, the official translation, the creator told them to to cut it up and make it read left to right. I
Yeah,
don't know if
yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He especially just cropped everything out to just for the American release to be like that. Yeah.
right. So I want to get a version where is the original because something about it isn't right. Because even before I knew that, I knew something wasn't quite right because the directional kind of devices that people would normally have, they're not
Mm,
present in that, and I think it's because of that. So like the
mm.
flow of the panels doesn't. I don't know if that's making sense. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, I guess what you mean. Yeah, I mean it's
you know,
just.
yeah, it kind of is a little bit troublesome. You know,
Mm,
it doesn't seem like it would make that big of a deal, but I mean, you read a lot of manga, so you know, like sometimes the composition of a panel is made to read in this direction.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. If the pages are wrongly apt, then you have no clue. I mean, even in Kappa magazine, everything was in every Kappa magazine, everything's from left to right, but they didn't reverse the one story went on where, and he made from right to left. So you just started at the end. I'm like, huh, that doesn't make any sense. And then you go back like, oh, that's how it's supposed to be. It just did wrong. So yeah, the whole story of the thing just changes.
yeah, so
But
like
yeah, there's moments, of course, like that,
I,
but you like, you know, don't flow that well, or you have no clue what a panel even, with the art. You have no, you just somebody made a panel, but you have no clue what you look at, or it's just you see a figure, but it's just figure so distorted you have no clue what you're looking at. Sometimes it's just some kind of style, just some kind of position, but you have no clue what you're actually looking at, or something like that.
you mean like when you're not sure which direction to read?
No, 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 I mean like a panel, like the art, for instance. Somebody drew it in some kind of position, basically, and you just have no clue what's going on in the panel. It's just the panel is just like
Ah,
weirdly set up, and you just have no clue what you're looking at.
you
It's
know what
just a
I've
separate thing, but yeah.
uh, I get some problems like that in the Made in Abyss manga and in
Mm,
the what do they call it, the Attack on Titan manga. Like his art is a lot more how to
sketch?
say, yeah, a little more rough. I don't mind rough art in general. I don't really mind rough
Mm,
art in general, but
no, blame has it.
yeah, but sometimes you're not sure what the hell is happening. You know?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Also had that with Trigon. Also some panels. It's just like you see a figure, but what is he doing? Like, what's going on? What is he wearing? What is he on? What kind of device is he using? Etc. 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 So you have no clue what the fuck you're looking at. It just tried to make it look cool, but it just looks so weird. You have no clue what the fuck's going on. Etc. Etc.
Yeah. I mean, like sometimes I wonder if is this what they really wanted, or was there another time, or I mean, sometimes people want it to look like that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and even in the animated version, sometimes there's a lot of shorthand to make things work. Like like yeah, like Dragon Ball Z had like fists and stuff flying all over. Like how do we show this? You know, and well, we just draw like 10 hands at once.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like like I'm still actually relatively new to manga. I only kind of probably past couple of years got into it more because usually I used to wait for the adaptation, but um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
with
by the
some.
way, have you heard of Ultra Heaven? That was also in the Atom book. It's also like set in real life, but then also far into the future with like really advanced drugs and just basically a manga that just trips balls. Basically, it just goes completely nuts with the art, but it's just man. And I
Wait,
think
what's
that
this?
the
What,
manga
what,
is also
what is your name,
never
right?
made any interviews. Hmm?
What is your name, Mike?
Ultra Heaven. I have it on the screen basically.
No.
Ultraven is like not completed because the
No, no,
author
no. It's uncompleted. Yeah, yeah. It's only 3 volumes, and like in
it was
2001 or
supposed to
two or
continue.
something, it ended.
Yeah, fortunately, because it was really interesting. There is another
Mm-hmm.
book available in English from.
Yeah, 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 I have that one. What's the name again? It was for Last Gasp. They made a release. Yeah, I know. I have it. There's just all kinds of short stories. It's the only one that's ever
Yeah,
made in English. It's also really good.
Okay. So this guy is still around, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
yeah. He's still alive. He's still alive. But he hasn't
Oh, but
made much, I think. I don't know.
I seen he only made like one thing after this, Heaven's Door.
Oh, Heaven's Door. Yeah, yeah, that's the volume. Yeah, basically, it's just a bunch of short stories that he made earlier and later on. Basically, that's the only one that's available in English. Basically, let me see.
Officially.
Yeah, in English, the only one that's in English ever.
Oh, that is interesting. I never heard of this guy, but I think manga short stories is a is a good way to get like huge ideas, out there. Like I don't know if you read a lot of sci-fi short stories, but um, like often the short stories kind of work because there may be an idea that you have that's interesting, but it's not enough to write a whole book about, you know. Or
Mm.
it might be difficult to get a long story out of it, or like the Matrix books good as just the first movie, right? It probably works best that way. The original Matrix.
Yeah, the original Matrix
Yeah.
movies. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, the last movie was just basically just trying to redo the whole story, but it fell flat on its face and it was not that great at all.
Yeah, because I think like if you try to get too much into it,
Hmm.
it's best to leave plenty things unknown.
Yeah. That's then you can keep the mystery, and then you keep the interest in the franchise. Basically, you
Yeah.
just basically can't catch lightning in a bottle twice. It's just only once it works, and then after that, if you try to do it multiple times, then it just kind of fails. There's only so many remakes that work for that franchise.
Right. Yeah. You know, but I'll need to check this out. Well, I using I want to say, is it Tachiyoma or something like that?
Hmm?
There's a Tachiyomi is a manga reader for Android. So you could use it uh on the tab on like let's say a tablet, an Android tablet
Hmm.
to view
Oh,
the
it's an app front of. Oh, okay, that's what you mean.
yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
I
like
don't
a
know.
front.
I usually mainly use websites just to watch, to read like manga decks or any other sites that have it, or sometimes Reddit even, or other scan sites that have stuff.
Well, what's cool about this one actually like you could pre-download it and it will organize it and everything. It will
Okay.
yeah, and it'll pick up where you leave off and all this sort of thing. So I think in some ways I like it better than going to the website because yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, and you could it actually has a way you could choose other. It has the extensions for different sites. So if there's
Hmm.
like even all Western comics, so there's extensions to Western comic websites too. Yeah, so
Okay.
that might be a convenient way to look at some stuff.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've also have my site for comic stuff, and That's illegal and a lot of heads on that one. And manga Dex is also a feature that just remembers the page where you were on and like the different settings you have just to rearrange the pages or how you want to read it, etc., etc., etc.
Ah,
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to going on there, basically.
yeah. Well, I mean, like if you well, you normally read on a computer when you're reading online.
Mm, on my laptop sometimes,
Ah,
not
okay,
on my phone majority of the time because it's so small.
okay.
Hmm. By the
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
have you seen Junkhead?
Hmm.
No.
No.
I streamed it last Sunday. I streamed it. It was also a really strange movie, stop motion movie. Junkhead.
Ah, okay. So from what I've seen, it took forever to make.
Yeah, about 7 years, all by one guy basically, and at the end he finally got help. And he is also a big Blame fan. That's the thing is influenced by Blame, and he is also making a second one right now. Young World will come out in 2025 or something like that.
It's coincidental that this come out because then there's also a Mad God, right?
Yeah, Mad God. Yeah, basically it starts out the same. It's like you being in a capsule and just being lowered down into sort of a mecha structure. Well, in Mad God, you got literally lower down, and in here you just got rocketed down, basically. But I don't know if the two even if Junkhead even knew about Mad God.
Yeah.
Probably did. Maybe took some inspiration from it, but
Well,
not
you see
for
the
real.
fact that the fact that it was in the making for like 10 years or 7 years or whatever. You see that means that it's less likely that it was inspired by it. It's not like to say, uh,
Well, Mad God was in the works for 30 years, like began in the 80s on film material, and then it got shelved and it got worked on again and shelved and worked on again by
right. So that's
Scripted.
what I'm
So
saying. The guy would have had no way to know about it. Junkhead guy.
I mean, it's been in shorts. Originally, Mad God was like three shorts. You can see that in the movie too, and that was been released kinda. So maybe he knew that from that or some other stuff. I don't know, or maybe it's just pure coincidence. But it's possible.
Well, like I'm sure you've seen there were throughout history there've been like animated movies released at the same time that are similar. Like there's Ants and Bugs Life.
Hmm.
There was Happy Feet and some other thing with penguins at the same time. You know, so
Yeah,
knowing
it's
that,
possible. Obviously, coincidence.
well, it really makes you wonder. Wasn't there, and movies too? Wasn't there Deep Impact and Armageddon at the same time? Back in the day.
Think so. Yeah, around the time. I think. I don't remember.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know. Are there things that maybe happening in the world otherwise that inspire people to do the same thing at once?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
yeah. No, could be. In any case, Matt got just way more experience because he was, 30 years in the works, obviously, and he made other stuff, obviously. So Matt God looks a lot better than Junkhead, but Junkhead is still great, obviously, and he's probably his second movie is gonna be even more has more experience with it, so it looks even more better than that. So you know,
But who are the Japanese guy? You say for the most part work alone.
Yeah, 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 the majority of the time was just done by him. Basically, he's basically a shut in for the longest time, and but he wasn't just laying in his bed all day long. No, he was making this stuff, trying to make this a reality. Basically, just a
Right.
passion project, you could say.
Well, you had to be obsessed like a
Oh
kid.
yeah, it was a real obsession, all right, to make that. It took a long fucking time to do it. Eventually, he got help at the end, and he got more people involved to trying to work it all out. But the
Yeah.
majority, if you go to the credits, the majority it's just him basically.
Well, I guess it really is the the vision of our author.
Hmm. I mean, it's the
You know.
same with Tetsuo, for instance. I was also really obsessed to just make it because he just had to make it in the film industry and just to, you know, um, just get the film working. It's also
Which was
like
it?
that's what Iron Man I'm talking about, like
Ah,
how that got made. Was also really obsessive. Basically, he was kicked out of his house and he had nowhere to go, so he just had to make this movie to work, and the movie worked eventually, but he also lost almost all of his friends because was really strict on it. It's just really hard to work with. So almost everybody left in like a couple of weeks. Almost all his friendships were destroyed, and you couldn't do anything about it anymore. And he also destroyed several houses with drilling holes in doors and whatnot and other stuff, and a lot of stuff on the cutting boards just to make it as perfect as possible, even for an amateur movie as that. But it really worked at the end of the day. It's one of the most well-known cyberpunk movie from Japan, basically. Now everything else got inspired by it or came after.
right. So he was actually able to eventually make money from it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, it was. It won a prize well, no, another short won a prize when he was still working on it. Didn't believe that, and then he got screened in Italy for the first time. Then he got really high reviews there, and then it just went off basically in the underground world, and it got more and more popular. And then it really picked up steam. And for the soundtrack, he basically told the guy, just make music with like metal thrown together, basically. Just make it sound like that. And that's all the direction he got, and the soundtrack worked in the end. There's a whole video on that on YouTube, and there's also a book on it, which I'll also have from that sort of Iron Man, on just like the whole production of it. It's hard to get though. It's pretty expensive if you get it at all. It's also probably online, so you can read that.
Ah, like how he made the show. Like this
Yeah, how he
uh,
made the movie.
is. I wonder if things would have been easier for him if he made something like that now. With modern stuff. I mean, things is always hard to produce stuff, but would it
I mean,
is it
yeah, back in the day, it was just, he basically had to borrow stuff, borrow film material to get it to throw together. And it was pretty expensive back in the day to do it, obviously. So it was
right?
not easy to make it all. And now you can just use digital cameras, it would be way easier to make it all. So, yeah, I guess it was made easier now, but you probably wouldn't have the style and the music that you have now. It would just look way
Ah,
different than it would look now, obviously. And some things won't fly, so I don't know how it would look like now if he really made it now, but it probably would be easier, and some things would be totally different. The music, the style, the etc. etc. You can make it in the 80s and style in the 80s if you never made it in the 80s, so or like just in about the 80s. And surprisingly, it's not inspired by Akira because it's Tetsuo the Iron Man. And Akira, if the guy just transforms into this hunk of flesh and metal. So
So he was actually inspired by that.
No. He told in interviews and in his own words, he was not inspired by it, and was
Oh,
mostly inspired by his own works. He worked in a commercial business, so TV commercials. He made a couple of in Japan, and the stress of that he worked on. And he also made plays, just theater plays, on his personal theater kaiju studios or something like that, because he was also really interested in kaiju. So he also got in that really, and then just all that mixed together got this movie basically. And he had some friends also on the ground in the theater world, so he got them to work with him, etc., etc. It's just a crazy, you know, it's a hell of a work to do basically. And then you
well,
have other movies.
and this was he was able to make this thing. Well, not that he was able to make it go viral, but this was like before stuff went viral was a thing.
Yeah. Basically, you just send it into festivals and just hope that it worked. And well, lo and behold, it worked.
Good for him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's really well known. Have you even
yeah.
seen it, Q?
I've seen clips of it. Some of the more particularly disturbing clips, I think.
Oh, you gotta watch it someday because it's just, it's pretty insane.
Yeah, I think that reminds me of which I also haven't seen. I think it was David Lynch making Eraserhead and stuff.
Razorhead? No. This guy hasn't made a Razorhead. That was who made
No,
a
but
Razorhead?
I mean, it reminds me of that.
Oh, yeah, the experimental, obviously, and yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, well, I guess, and it was made when, boy? When was that made? Um,
Yeah,
Probably the same time. Probably around the same time.
80s somewhere. Yeah, early 80s
No.
somewhere.
77, 77. So it was,
Oh, well, we even earlier.
but surely he was influenced by that.
Yeah. Could be. Well, why not? I mean, it's possible. I don't remember it on the top of my head, but yeah, probably possible.
Yeah. But is there anything unusual that we should check out, Koma? I'm sure you've seen some strange things. Uh, Live action, anime, anything.
Mm.
One Piece, because that's recently been released as a series.
Oh man,
That's the recent thing that I know of that's been released.
Oh
not
yeah.
necessarily not necessarily recent, just unusual, fringe things. Like Tetsu. Is there
Oh,
anything?
like that.
Not necessarily
Electric
the same
Dragon,
genre.
for instance. Electric Dragon 80,000 volts. That's also really unusual.
80,000 folds.
Electric Dragon 80,000 volts.
Ah,
Elephant Man is also a weird film.
what's it called?
Elephant Man.
Oh yeah, you know what? That is, I definitely get that kind of vibe. You know,
Oh, Elephant Head. Yeah, I know. It's a man that is just his whole head is just deformed, and he was in a movie. Yeah, I know.
yeah, I wonder if he had to fight to make that black and white, because surely that would have been very unusual in 1980.
For
You
Tetsuo,
know?
you mean?
No, Elephant Man.
Oh no, Elephant Man is way older. I thought like an actual time that he just made.
No, the film I think was made in 1980.
Yeah,
hmm.
precisely.
Yeah, so the fact that it was black and white, makes me think that he had to fight for that. Because surely they wouldn't have wanted him to make it in black and white. I'm not sure. Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
guess. Oh, and he only died at 27. I guess this is yeah, but I think weirdly that was perfect for David Lynch. It's like this is like a surreal situation, but for real. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, are you guys been playing anything?
Yeah, no. I've just been traveling a lot, buying and seeing a lot of stuff. So not playing anything.
Ah, yeah, I've been looking at this mod for Doom. People have made well, it's interesting that people still making mods for Doom. Like
I mean, it's really popular, so
yeah,
with the new games now. What
um,
mod?
Ashes 2063 is
Hmm.
I mean, it's crazy. Is a open world mod for Doom,
Oh,
and
okay.
there's a channel I look at a lot, Ragnaroks. Um,
Hmm.
he says he described it as a perfect marriage of Stalker, Fallout, and Doom.
Hmm.
So I just find it so interesting that people doing this ambitious thing on this ancient engine that was never intended to do this stuff. And if the people that made it could have even dreamt that something like this could have been made, you know,
Hmm. Okay. I
you
mean, I
know,
know that's like Doom 2 is being modified to hell, and somebody made a completely other game out of it. Basically,
yeah.
I remember some really depressive game, something like Silent Hill, but the monsters even more freaky for some reason on an island or something. I don't remember what the mod was, and I remember a recent mod of My House, basically based on a book. It's also really weird that the house just constantly changes if you go into different rooms and just evolves into something else entirely.
Or is that because the Doom engine has like weird uh there's some weird rules with the geometry in Doom that it could do things that don't make sense.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, basically.
yeah, yeah, there was a guy that was on that knew about all this sort of stuff, right? One of your friends who was a, a game developer, um,
Mm,
the guy who made the mods, I think he knew about this kind of stuff. What was his name again?
mm.
And I had him on the podcast before.
Oh, Doom mods.
Yeah,
No, not for Doom mods. No, we had for Blood. We have a mod.
right.
Yeah, that wish she made for them for Blood Media a mod.
Yeah, and like that was something that like the limitation of the game made that kind of bizarre thing possible. This
Yeah,
kind of
with modern computers having more power, having more ideas, etc. Back in '79 and 1997, he couldn't do the stuff that he made in Death Wish, obviously. And even now, he even updates it to even more crazy stuff that wasn't possible before that.
yeah, it's kind of interesting that but on the plus side, if people use that engine now, that means that anybody could play the game on any computer.
Yeah, for free. Anybody could
Yeah,
just play it.
which I think that's kind of a cool thing. So and people even using those ancient engines uh to make new games that are actually getting a retail release on Steam and stuff. Because the engines are now like open source, but you know
my
like
house. That's what I meant with the mod. There's also Doom mod that just completely changed. There's also a YouTube video that found it randomly, but it was already 2 years online, but nobody knew about it.
all right, and then it blew up after that. Somebody
Somebody made a video on it, and then it just blew up basically.
damn, that's kind of interesting. Like, so the only way a lot of games get any publicity is if somebody popular stream them.
Yeah, or just made a popular YouTuber, or just a YouTuber makes a good fit on it, and then people watch it basically. Or gets more known, like basically my videos I made on on near works, etc. And a bit more people know it. Not that much, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, I think so. Or is there any game that you guys are looking forward to? I see Starfield come out and setting stuff on fire.
Yeah,
I watched.
people have been complaining about Starfield for being like, I don't know, buggy, or you need to mod it in order to enjoy it more, have more FPS or things like that. And people say also that this is to be expected from a game from Bethesda, but I don't know. Do you guys think?
I mean, I heard some positive stuff on it from like a YouTuber that went to a German con not too long ago, and there was talked about. He said some positive stuff about it. Beyond that, I don't know anything about this.
I mean, people
this game.
comparing.
Watch any interesting stuff.
People have been comparing it to No Man's Sky also.
Oh yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, he said that too. Yeah. I mean, what was the video game?
What from what I understand, you can't directly go from space to landing on a planet, which is different from No Man's Sky. Right? In No Man's Sky, you could go directly from space to a planet, from what I understand.
Yeah.
In this game, you can't do that. You have to go through a load screen. So like I suppose it's not as immersive, but on the other hand, No Man's Sky is a little more, I don't want to say cartoonish, but you know what I mean, it's a little more abstract. So it's not as, maybe it's not as grounded, so you don't have to be as carefully accurate. And then you have to ask is it do you think it's necessary for a game for you to have to land on the planet? Because I think there's something interesting to that, right? Just the fact that it's happening in real time, so that the planet is actually there. Is not a trick then, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And well, I just find it interesting that Starfield doesn't have that, and No Man's Sky does have that. So in No Man's Sky, you could fly you literally have to fly to places. It doesn't. I don't know. There probably is fast travel, but just the idea of that. Because I don't think were there any games that did that before, where you could take off from a planet and go into space.
Were there games like that?
But I mean, you see how that is like a huge technological feat, right?
Yeah. I mean, sure. I mean, No Man's Sky started out really bad. With bugs and whatnot, and content that was not there, and then they just built up from there and just fixed the whole thing.
But I actually am surprised that I'm surprised that that game isn't more buggy than it is because I mean, like consider that Bethesda games were buggy when they were set on one planet, you know, or even part of a
But
planet.
now hundreds of plants. Oh no.
Yeah, so
Yeah, hopefully it's not 70 Fallout 76 or something like
oh
that.
well,
Yeah, really bad.
I don't think even they could make something as I think they learned their lesson. Let's say they learned their lesson. You know, that was that was unnecessary evil. You know, to. But I haven't really played much of the game since uh I think Morrowind was the game that I played the most. That was
Mm.
way back. That was a way old game. Yeah. I don't know
Mm.
if you guys familiar with that. That was probably in the early 2000s when I got a computer for the first time.
No,
And that
we're
was
probably too young for that.
yeah, that was even then even then it was kind of it was a bit older, but I mean just imagine seeing something like that for the first time. You know, it's kind of crazy to imagine.
Yeah.
You know,
But have you heard about Turbo Overkill?
that is a new uh well I should say Doom like
FPS,
engine
old,
shooter.
old FPS game. Yeah, I heard it. I saw a video of Civi 11 yesterday on it. It was pretty good. Had a lot of content into it. Love nice graphics, action, etc., etc., etc.
Is it
Dark
actually
humor. So.
it actually have a is it actually a Doom engine kind of game? Uh,
Yeah,
that's fine.
kinda. I mean,
That's
it's
fine.
but you can do a lot more than yeah. It's kind of like Doom 2016 was
Ah,
described as
okay.
kind of like that.
Now, what I'm talking about is like there's modern games using the 2.5D engines.
Yeah, yeah, using the old engines to make new games out of them. Yeah, I know, I know, I
Right.
know, I know. I don't know what engine it was made on, but I don't think an old engine in any case.
Nah.
I know
Uh,
that Bombshell Shelly was Iron Fury was made on the
Duke Nukem.
what engine again? Duke
Duke
Nukem
Nukem
engine. I know
3D.
that.
Yeah.
I know that, and that really worked really well. I played the game; it was also really awesome. But yeah, this game looked pretty good from what I've seen from the videos, like a 40-minute video. Saw it on his Patreon, so it probably will be out on a few days, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Probably gonna buy this and play it. Hopefully, it works on my PC though, because it's a bit more going on than another old FPS game, etc., etc., etc.
I think it looks like it doesn't I mean it looks good, but I don't think it's something that will need an extreme computer to run because it definitely has like a retro thing going on to it. Like I mean it's not this generation's crisis is what I'm saying. Like it definitely has
Yeah,
like a retro style, a lot of boxy kind of environments and stuff, which in a way I suppose is it make the game easier to make, and
yeah. This retro style, this pixelated style. I mean, I would rather play this than Cyberpunk because, well, one, I can play Cyberpunk. Two, I'm not really interested in Cyberpunk. So yeah, this seems more like a game for me. It
yeah.
also has this, and it's also the main guy. It's just chainsaws. His leg is basically a chainsaw, and then later on, he get even more chainsaws from his hand, from his arms or whatnot. He basically becomes Chainsaw Man in a way,
Okay.
even without knowing it. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, I'm glad people making single player shooters again There was a time where they were
Mm.
all multiplayer shooters.
Yeah. There was a time there was only COD or etc. 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 Those
Yeah,
gray shooters that don't go anywhere.
yeah, and I think it's interesting that younger people playing games like this. But before, like especially like in the PS3 generation, PS3 and 360 time, nobody wanted to kind of look backwards and see they were only ever going forward. You know, you would never have seen so many retro style games. Everybody was
Mm.
trying to be the next crisis, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm glad and I think it is let them do things that they wouldn't be able to do otherwise. Like like
No.
imagine No Man's Sky come out before Starfield. And I think it might be because it has like a less realistic style.
Yeah. Maybe probably because Bethesda's ideas probably wouldn't have worked as well as it did now, but we're
Yeah,
not in that time zone anymore, so or can be in that time zone anymore, so. Hmm.
yeah. Imagine Starfield needed a whole other generation to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Before it is able to come up. Yeah. Oh, I think we nearing 2 hours again.
We have like 50 minutes left or something like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, and
Mm.
I think they actually I think part of this engine is still using the same engine that was used decades ago, the creation engine. Like
Really?
yeah, so it 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 um it had its roots I think in uh right. So yeah, I think it dates back even to Morrowind because the precursor
Mm.
engine to that was the Gamebryo engine, from what I understand, and they're just kind of building on that. So this is part I wonder if like this is why I wonder if they if it was even possible for them to make people land on planets.
Mm.
You know,
I mean,
if you have
yeah, who knows? I mean, I remember like games from the 80s, 70s, maybe even. There was also something like that. You could also go from planet to planet. It's like, it's a much smaller game. There's also, yeah, there was also a game that goes from the 80s, like a 2D kind of game with like minimal colors. And you could go from planet to planet to planet to planet and just trying to discover different planets and different factions and whatnot. And also trillions of planets to go through. I don't know what it was called again, but there was another game like that. And for Iron Maiden or Iron Fury, I mean, that's also me the DLC Aftershock, so that's also coming out. So it's also pretty nice. I'm also gonna play that, obviously. But yeah, Outheader made had the one on his list. Yeah, maybe you should check him out. Outheader. He has a lot of Easter eggs and other stuff that people haven't found in years on games, rediscovered or stuff that was hidden in games or etc. or messages or anything like that. It's pretty interesting for a gaming channel or like
was the name of
find
the channel?
alt header. Let me
Of
let me show. Alt header. Header. It is. cut content on kids games or glitches or etc. Just anything that's been lost or unknown or obscure or
Odd header. Okay, I thought you were saying off header. Okay.
no odd hair. Or like stuff on flash games
Oh,
like this or SpongeBob, for instance. Hmm?
coincidentally, I looked at a video of his a while back. Yeah. Strangest areas in games. That you were never supposed to find.
Ah, okay. I mean, I've watched all his fits at this point. It's pretty interesting what he has come up with until now. Like even Flash games, like stuff found in Flash games for something or some reason, or kids games, just the weirdest stuff. I don't know, pretty interesting. Or codes in different games, for instance, like a 2D scroller game. What was it again? I don't remember. That also had all kinds of different codes in it.
Yeah, there's a.
Or even DVDs had some kind of codes in it, or
Oh
like
yeah, that is a thing that people will never understand in the future. Like, what is a disc, but it's just a movie, but it have secrets in it. What is that? You know?
there's all kinds of different things in menus you could do, or just find shit, or just find secrets or whatnot, and how to use it. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you mean. There was also like an Evangelion DVD that has, so one scene of a porno actress, a Japanese porno actress, just coming up. That was kind of an error. Or another one, there was like a PlayStation 3 or 2 demo disc or something like. And from Tetsuo the Iron Man, the scene came up as a jump scare for some reason. If you be long enough on a menu screen or something like that.
Oh, that's weird. They
Mm.
just stuck that in there for no reason.
Yeah. Or like, what was it again? Or like in movies, like Guardians of the Galaxies, also have codes with every new place or chapter. And also comes codes just lined up, and you can make a message out of that, etc. I don't know, stuff like that is pretty interesting to have. Mm, yeah, what more?
Yeah.
Mm,
Oh, so what was it? Um, the creator of Bebop, Watanabe, has a new manga a new anime supposed to be coming out.
oh. Oh, which one?
Lazarus, I think is the name.
Lazarus. Okay.
Yeah, so keep eye out
Maybe
for
I
that.
heard about it.
It only now recently announced. I think a couple of weeks ago. I think at most.
What was it called?
Lazarus.
Lazarus. Lazarus. Yes. Oh yeah. Wait, I've heard about that. Keanu Reeves is coming into this,
Oh, okay.
or something like that. I don't know. Somewhere in the same world as Bebop or something like that.
I don't think it has any connection.
Hmm. I don't know. I heard something like that, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's gonna be interesting. That's probably a thing to watch. Why not? Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Uh. Yeah.
Yeah, how
Mm,
about it look interesting. Well, I mean, I'm glad he's doing stuff. He's still
Yeah,
doing stuff.
obviously. I mean, it's more interesting than having nothing. Obviously.
There was a show of his that um I was supposed to look to 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 look at this now. Let's see. Shini, all right, Shinichiro Watanabe. All right,
Hmm.
yeah, there was one of his shows that I didn't see. I didn't finish it, I should say.
Was it a music anime or something like that?
Um, what was it? Oh, he made a show called Terror in Resonance, but I don't know.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I remember that one. I've watched like 1 or 2 episodes of that.
Oh, was it any good?
Yeah, but a lot of positive feedback from fans. People really love the OST too. So I don't know. Maybe go watch that. That's also kind of interesting. Why not?
Oh, there was one called Michiko and Hatchin. He didn't direct it, but he was
Mm,
he was I think involved in it a lot.
mm,
Produced
mm,
by,
mm.
but
Yeah, yeah,
it was another kind of short series. I think. I
yeah,
think it
yeah,
was
yeah,
in.
yeah, yeah. Oh well. Mm, yeah. I mean, oh well.
It,
Yeah, I mean, for the rest, I think some bottles like Comicers, a manga magazine from Japan. It was $30, but I didn't know it was $30, so I just bought it blindly. Had an interview of Berserk. Some fakes, small fakes, from me, some kind of small boxes from Chainsaw Man, and interview with Blake Mortimer. Have you heard of that? Also a comic book artist. And, things from my parents, and yeah. But well, I guess we ended here. We have nothing to talk about it, so yeah, that's it for today. And watch out for the next episode, I guess. Well, bye.
Bye
Good night.
okay.
bye.
Later.